Parents and educators, I want to talk to you about financial sextortion. Now, we here at smartsocial.com have been covering this for quite some time, but it's worse than ever. If you watch this video, I'm going to give you some dialogue starters and some ideas on how to have a conversation with your child about this so that this will never happen to your family. Here's an article in USA Today that says these teenage boys were blackmailed online and it cost them their lives. When police looked through James's phone, they discovered he had fallen victim to financial sextortion, a crime that occurs when a predator threatens to distribute private material or harm a victim if they don't comply with their financial demands. The scam is the fastest growing cybercrime targeting children in North America and most commonly exploits young men, particularly boys 13 to 17 years old. If you think this will never happen to my kids, please think again. Watch this whole video and we're going to give you some ideas on how to make sure it doesn't happen in your community. Now, sextortion has been connected to at least 30 deaths of teenage boys by suicide since 2021, according to a tally of private cases and the latest FBI numbers. It used to be the cybercrimes were only around the elderly, but now they're going after kids as well. And we're going to show you what happened. Before we dive into exactly what happened to these kids, let me show you bigger trends that we get from our law enforcement partners here at smartsocial.com. These are the 7 disturbing things predators might say to your kids online. First, they'll say, let's turn on vanishing mode so the content will disappear. On Instagram, that's swiping up. There's all kinds of different ways of doing that. That should be a red flag number 1 that you talk with your kids about. Another one is, let's set up another Instagram account and chat with me there. This is what the predator or cyber scam artist might say to your kids. Now, when you set up another Instagram account, the kid can still toggle between those accounts and be able to see them both. But what the predator wants to happen is that, unfortunately, the parents can't access the second account. They need to log in individually to each one. That's why they'll carry out step number 2, encouraging your kids or creating a story of, oh, I can't chat with you on this one. My username is broken on this one. Can you create another one? We'll chat over there. They also might say, you're so pretty or you're so cute. I understand you. I get you. Your parents don't get you. They'll build trust and groom through compliments. They'll also say, your parents won't understand. Don't tell them that we talked, and they'll hide the relationship and start to build in a chance for the kid to divide conversations that happen in these private chat rooms versus what they tell their parents. This is where it gets dangerous, and this is why we want parents to be on the phones with their kids and know that the wisdom that the parents have extends online and offline. They aren't different worlds. In step 5, what they'll typically do is ask, how old are you to your kids? Where are you right now? What school do you go to? They'll message your kids all the time and they're collecting personal information. You may think, oh, this is no big deal. But some of you might be saying, well, that's a red flag. Why do they want to know where my daughter or my son are at all the time? They're putting together data and information to help carry out the next steps. Then what they'll do in step 6 is they'll say, here's a photo of me, now send one of you. And they'll push to get an inappropriate photo from your child. They'll probably go to Google and then find the same age that your kids are and find somebody good looking of the opposite sex and say, oh, this is me. And in this case, if they want to talk to a 13-year-old boy, they will pretend like they're a 13-year-old girl. And they'll come up with a bunch of photos that are already available on the internet and they'll start sending them to your son or your daughter. And they may not know they're not who they really say they are. And this is where it gets dangerous in this story today. They'll say, send another photo or I'll send this photo to all of your friends and family. They will harass your child, blackmail them, threaten your child, cause them extreme stress and humiliation. Now, in this really sad case, James's predators falsely told him he would face jail time for sending nude photos, and that his parents would stop loving him and that he would never be able to run track and field again or go to college. In the next 19 hours, they would send James more than 200 messages, a technique predators use to instill a sense of urgency and prevent giving the victim time to think or, most importantly, to reach out to a trusted adult for help. Take a look at this here. They eliminated his desire for a future, his mother says. I don't think that James knew that he was a victim. The messages often become very innocent. They come from someone who appears to be a teenage girl. And they say, hey, I found your page through suggested friends, a cybercriminal wrote on one exchange reviewed by USA Today. Your pics are really cute, ha ha. Predators, once again, they're establishing this trust and they quickly steer the conversation towards sexual topics or they'll send unsolicited nudes. They typically move the conversation to a second app such as Snapchat, WhatsApp, private text messages. It might be one of these other ones, Telegram, Signal, any of these should raise a red flag. And then the blackmail starts minutes later, parents. The predators will isolate the teens by threatening to send their nude photos to their contacts or friends on social media if they don't pay a sum of money, creating fear and humiliation and discouraging them from telling a trusted adult. The blackmailers will also accuse the teens of being criminals for exposing themselves and warn they will be put on a sex offender list. Parents, here's a few dialogue starters that you can screenshot. These are from our live events at smartsocial.com, where we help millions of people a year just like you to navigate these discussion starters and the topics so that it never happens to your family. The first one you might consider asking your kids is, have you ever gotten a message from someone you didn't know online? How did you handle it? And yes, it starts off with a yes or no, which I don't love, but it gets them thinking and then asks them, how did you handle it? What happened? No, mom, I didn't. That's where you can open this up and say, how would you handle it? What goes on there? Another one, if someone online says that they're your age and likes all the same things as you, do you think that always means they're telling the truth? Now, what we're doing is we're precursoring to this, hoping that it never happens. If you have these dialogues with your kids, even if they never respond, they are doing the math in their head of, oh, if this happens, my parents say that that's normal, that I should just behave this way, go to a trusted adult, turn off the phone, and don't trust the person on the other side. We want to teach your kids these behaviors and model the right thing to do so that it doesn't end up tragic. Another one is, what is the difference between an online friend versus a real life friend? And this is where we need to divide and say trusted adults, mom, dad, teachers, good people, versus everyone else online. If someone online asks you to keep a conversation secret from me, what do you think their reason might be? Great open-ended question to get the kids to go, well, I don't know. And again, if your kid gives you the cold shoulder, that's okay. You've started the conversation. You get 2 points just for that. That could actually protect your family just right then and there. Here's some more ways to dialogue with your child. Have you or a friend ever encountered someone online who made you feel uncomfortable or unsafe? If so, what did you do or what did they do? Opens up a great conversation. Parents, you can screenshot this and make it your own. It can happen in the car ride or around dinner or really anywhere where you're chatting with your kids. What would you do if someone online started asking you personal questions like what school you go to or if you're home alone? And last, this one's great. Is there another adult you could go to talk with if for any reason you didn't feel comfortable coming to me? Who would that be? Too many parents these days have forgotten it takes a village to raise this child that you have, and they won't always feel comfortable going to you. Even though you're probably the most trusted person in their life, sometimes they want to go to an aunt, an uncle, another trusted adult that's close to the family that mom and dad might trust. And this one is a game changer because it shows the kid to start thinking about who else could I go to other than just mom or just dad? Could I go to grandma, grandpa, a teacher, or someone else? Parents, please consider talking with your kids about financial sextortion. Open up some of these dialogue starters. We're fighting for you and we believe in you. If you have that talk and your kid gets you the cold shoulder, that's normal. You're doing great work. If you're also looking over your kid's shoulder to see who they're chatting with online, we support you here at smartsocial.com. If your kids are upset with you once a month, once a week because you did something to lower their screen time, or make sure you know who they're chatting with online and they're upset with you, you're doing the right parenting things. To be a difficult parent, a tough parent, you're parenting right instead of worrying about your kids liking you, you're loving on them. And that is wonderful. We here at smartsocial.com have lots of events. Please come to one of them. Talk to your school district about unlocking exactly the content you saw here today, plus so much more. We want to make sure your family's safe so that someday when your kids are ready to be on social media at the age of 16 and above, they can someday shine online. I'm Josh Oakes, the founder of smartsocial.com. Thanks for watching this Josh Talk. We'll see you all very soon. Have a great rest of the day.